everyone and welcome to Learning with Mrs. P. Today we are going to be learning how to find a fraction of an amount when the numerator is more than 1. So let's have a look at our first example. I would like to find 2/3 of 12. Now, just like when we were finding a fraction of an amount when the numerator was 1, we need to start by doing the same thing, and that is dividing our amount by the denominator. So here I have my Lego block that has 12 studs on it. I want to divide it by the denominator and split it into 3 equal sections. So here I've split it into my 3 equal sections. Now today I want to find out what 2/3 of that would be. So 2/3 of the sections, so 2 of these sections. So I can see that altogether 2 of the sections have 4 studs each, which would give me 8. So 2/3 of 12 is 8. Let's have a look at another example and see if we can work out the process of what we are doing. This time I want to find out what is 3/4 of 20. So I could start, if I wasn't sure, I could draw a picture. I'm going to take my circle and split it into 4 equal sections into its quarters, and then I can find out what 1/4 is by splitting up my 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so that's what we did last time, was we divided our amount by our denominator to find out 1/4. I want to find out 3/4. I know that 1/4 I can see has 5 dots in it. So I could count all the dots if I needed to, or I could count in 5s to work out what 3 of those sections would be, or times my 5 by 3, 5, 10, 15. So the first thing we did was we divided by our denominator. Then, because I want to find out 3 sections, we times by 3, and that is our numerator. So then we times this answer by our numerator to give us our 15. So our 3/4 of 20 is 15. It's really important to know this method so that we can find out fractions of much larger amounts. Let's look at a couple more examples using that process. This time I want to find out 5/8 of 32. Knowing our times tables is really helpful for this, or you could use the multiplication square to help you. So step number 1 is we divide our amount by our denominator. So 32 divided by 8, which I know equals 4. If it's a division I know in my head, I like to write it out this format rather than using maybe a bus stop division method. I don't need to, because I know the answer to that in my head. I can do it mentally. So that was step 1, we divide by the denominator. Step number 2, we multiply by the numerator. Multiply this answer here by the numerator. So 4 times 5 gives me 20. So 5/8 of 32 is 20. We're going to have a look at one more example, which is a little bit trickier. So this time I want to find 4/7 of 301. Okay, first step is we divide by the denominator. I'm finding dividing 301 by 7 quite tricky to do in my head, so this time I will use a bus stop division method. So I want to divide 301 by 7. 7 goes into 3 no times, so I carry the 3. 7 goes into 34 times, which is 28, and gives me a remainder of 2. And 7 goes into 21 3 times. So I know then that 301 divided by 7 gives me 43. So I've divided by my denominator. Now I have to multiply by my numerator. So I need to do 43 times 4. I also find that tricky to do in my head, so I'm going to use my chosen method, which is a column method. You might choose to use partitioning or another strategy of your choice to solve this. 4 times 3 is 12. 2 goes in the units column, I carry the 1. 4 times 4 is 16, plus the 1 at the bottom gives me 17. So my answer is 172. So 4/7 of 301 is 172. Okay, hopefully we have now learnt the method to find fractions of amounts when the numerator is more than 1. So first of all, we divide by the denominator. And then second, we multiply by the numerator. So by following those 2 steps, you can find a fraction of any given amount when the numerator is more than 1. I hope you have learned something new today, everyone. If you have any comments or queries, please just leave them in the comments section below. Thank you. Bye-bye.